Ooh, what's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 96 of the Stand Up Guys podcast, the old 96er, as they call it. I'm your host, Incomparable Zach Jones, joined as always by my bro from the same Momo, Lester Jones.
Hello, everybody.
You guys remember Momo? Those pictures, those creepy pictures of that lady they would call Momo in the news?
No, I have no idea. What is this?
This is like a trend that was happening a few years ago. There was like this creepy picture that people were sharing of.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like a creepy woman.
Yeah, she had a long, stretched out face.
That wasn't from like a video game or something?
I don't think it was just made up. Like somebody just took this image and like altered it a little bit, and it became like this huge news story that people ran with.
Well, as you can hear, we're also joined by the guy that knows everything about Momo. The ninth wonder, Chocolate Thunder, dropping fitties and grabbing titties, the nip flicking, deep dicking, swimming in boobies like Scrooge McDuck and rubies, the phenomenal A.J. Singh.
Also, momos are a snack in Nepal. They're really delicious.
Don't you talk about eating my momo. What are they exactly?
They're like little dumpling balls, basically. You just dip them in something and you eat them. But they're good.
Something chocolatey and salty.
Suck my chocolate salty balls. Put them in your mouth.
Hey, children.
What have you guys been up to? What have you been watching? What have you been doing?
Man, we got to touch on this. Like, I saw the Thor: Love and Thunder trailer, the second one that came out.
Oh yeah,
and they showed Gore the God Butcher, and I think he looks awesome.
Yeah, the thing that's weird is like most of the scenes he's in are like kind of like a black and white with like a splash of color when he's like fighting people.
So yeah, I think that comes from like the whole Necrosword, because you know the Necrosword comes from like a different being named Null, who comes from like darkness, the void, basically, and because of that, his weapon like basically it sucks up like color or something. It takes away all that saturation. It creates like black and white images, and that's where you see Valkyrie fighting with that lightning bolt against Gore, where she has a little bit of color on her face still, and the lightning bolt has color, but the rest of her body is like black and white.
Right.
So it seems like the theory is that he sucks out like, that's his way of like sucking out color, but life, power, energy. So, I mean, that might be what it is. I hope so. I think
it's like the vampire girl on Adventure Time.
Oh, yeah, kind of like her, yeah.
I can relate.
That's where Marvel gets all their ideas. Adventure Time.
I don't watch Adventure Time.
I don't know which one came first.
Does she suck out the color out of things too?
Yeah, like red.
Oh, okay.
The color red.
She drinks the color red, sucks the color red out of things.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I mean, because of this trailer, I had to go back and rewatch. So this is a guy who like breaks down like comics and puts them in a way to like where it almost is like a show, and he had this good animation going on with the Gore the God Butcher storyline, and it's probably like 3 hours total.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but it was really good, and I enjoyed it. That's the second time I've watched the Gore the God Butcher story. It was different this time, of course, because it was like almost in like a show form.
Kind of like a motion comic.
Yeah, motion comic sort of thing, yeah. So it was really cool. I like
What's that guy's channel?
I think it's Russian Comic Nerd, something like that.
Russian Comic Nerd.
Yeah, I'll look it up for you. I'll let you know. But yeah, really good. And people are complaining about Christian Bale having a nose and no tentacles, I guess. But that seems like a dumb complaint. The character looks awesome, and I mean, somebody else touched on this before, but doing a character without a nose ends up making him look like Voldemort.
That's what I was just thinking. Well, it's been a while since I read the comic, but he does kind of a Voldemort look, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
He does. But I mean, I don't think you want to go with that look, in this movie.
Yeah, it probably would look a little too similar to Voldemort.
Yeah.
That's probably exactly why they didn't do it.
Right, that's what I think too. But yeah, the movie looks great. I'm excited to watch it. And even before this movie comes out, Miss Marvel's coming out as a show, so...
Yeah, and I think we're going to try to review that one week to week.
Is that coming out before She-Hulk, or is She-Hulk coming out before?
No, Miss Marvel comes out first, because it's coming out soon.
Like June 8th.
Yeah. And then I believe She-Hulk comes out mid-August.
Okay.
So we got a few months for that one. But, yeah, Disney's starting to line up all the all the shows.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Between that and all their Star Wars stuff, they're getting. I think they're trying to get to the point where they almost always have something either Marvel or Star Wars on.
Yeah, I feel like after Winter Soldier, they've been pretty consistent, like with movies. You know, like they've had some misses here and there, like Eternals and stuff, but.
And even that wasn't bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. But I think I've consistently enjoyed their work. Yeah.
What about you over there?
What are we talking about?
You know, just what you've been watching during the week, or any good stories from the week.
Oh wait, back to the trailer. Is Russell Crowe Zeus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and there's like
There's a little clip with Russell Crowe.
there's a bit where he like accidentally like zaps Thor's clothing off.
He flicked.
Yeah, he flicked too hard or something.
So there's a reason they say flick, because in the comics, flick looks like F-U-C-K, you know. So there was one comic where somebody flicked Thor and he was bent over and nearly naked. So he said something about flicking him, and I think he was ready to be flicked or something by somebody. And they said, "I'm ready to be," you know, that. And this is just their wordplay. This is kind of fun.
I didn't know there was a backstory behind it.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
You think they blur his ass in the movie, or just in the trailer?
I hope they don't blur that.
Well, obviously this is PG-13, so you can probably only like see like the top half of his ass. There's probably like a
You got 3 inches of crack.
yeah.
So, okay. Just checking.
Or maybe it's like you can only show any 3 inches at one time. So like, they do the top and then they move around, but then they show the bottom. They can't show it all at once.
Never the middle.
Yeah, never the middle. Never the twain shall meet. Never the whole.
Yeah, this week, I don't know, man. I've pretty much just been watching the repair shops, and you would not believe the plot twists.
God damn it.
But our parents were here last weekend, so my dad also likes that show.
Yeah, I didn't watch a ton just because our parents were in town and we were hanging out with them. But God, repair shop. Ugh.
Oh, so good. So
How
good.
is it? Like, what's the
Masterfully written.
It probably is written, is the sad thing. But like, what's the appeal to you? Like, because you're not like one of these guys that goes out antiquing.
No, but I mean, I like making stuff occasionally. It's just interesting.
Is it though?
You listen to Jim Cornette all fucking day. Let's get into this. I don't know how you listen to so much Jim Cornette. I don't know how he talks that fucking much.
No, he's unscripted and he's great and he can just go on for hours.
He can. He does.
That's impressive. Somebody who can talk for hours and hours and stay entertaining.
He is. He's funny.
Well, he has moments. I couldn't listen for 3 hours, though.
I'm going to put that to the test.
Yeah, there's one guy.
Like the 5 minutes
like
when I'm
that.
taking a shit next to your room and I can hear talking, that's enough for me.
Well, I listen to Moist Critical. Like,
Moist Critical?
well, he goes by Moist Critical, but people call him Critical. You know, like his username is Moist Critical.
Oh, I would call him Moist.
Yeah.
You call him Moist?
If it's between
My
Moist
boy
and-
Moist.
Yeah.
But his real name is Charlie. He's like a Twitch streamer. He goes on for like 4 or 5 hours straight sometimes, maybe even longer. And I just play the video and I go to sleep to it. So it just goes on. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and it'll still be going.
All straight to the subconscious.
So you're one of these people that likes to listen to things while you sleep?
Yeah.
Because, like, I can't do that. Like, I'll have a panic attack. Like I never quite get to sleep, and then, like, you know, the volume will go up a little bit or something, and I'll be like, ah. Be like fucking heart palpitations, you know?
I always used to watch TV and go to sleep as a kid. Like, right in front of the TV, I'd sleep on the sofa, you know? So that's something I've done for many years.
I might have been able to do it when I was a kid, and you just sleep like a stone once you get to sleep. But yeah, as an adult, no way I could do it.
Yeah, I just wake up at some point and shut it off.
The one thing I did try was once trying to go to sleep with like the, white noise, like thunderstorm type of thing. And I thought, because I do like rainstorms.
Yeah.
But it didn't do
not
it for
quite
me.
the same.
Yeah. Didn't work. Yeah, because our parents are in town, I didn't watch like a ton. I did finish up Halo Season 1. I will say I like Halo quite a bit.
You are the first person I've heard say that so far.
Maybe it's because I know nothing about the video games.
Okay, that probably has a lot to do with it.
It probably does. I enjoyed it quite a bit. The one thing I'll say is, like, visually, it's very uneven. Because, like, if you watch the first episode, there's, like, this action scene. And I think I'm right about this, but I'm not, like, a fucking, like, director, film expert, so I might be wrong. But it seems like in the action scene in episode 1 and one in the middle of the season 2, like, they're on a practical set, but they add, like, the characters, like, when their movement are probably, like, CG, you know, and maybe even a mix of sometimes, like, actual, like, live-action people in suits. And it looks pretty good. Mm. But the very final episode, like, they have this battle that's on, like, a different planet. And so, like, the whole setting is obviously not a practical set. It's a totally CG set. And, like, all the characters are CG, so it's because it's very video gamey. It's very cartoony, and your brain recognizes that, and it's like all of a sudden, it doesn't seem like you're watching a live action show anymore. It seems like you're all of a sudden watching a cutscene in a video game. Like, and it's like, so my one note to them would be like, even if you have to increase the budget a little, more like episode 1, less like, you know, episode 8 or whatever, because, like, it didn't look quite right.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, if the stuff where they mixed, like, the CG with the practical set, like, looked decent, but when it's just all CG, it's a little much.
Yeah, they probably shot the episodes, like, sequentially and ran out of money at that point.
Could have been. I mean, I would have thought they would have given them a pretty good budget, but, like, that could be, because, yeah, that final episode, just that action scene, and it went on for a while, too, and I was just like, boy.
I think they spent like $95 million on that show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man, you know what's crazy? That Lord of the Rings show that Amazon's making, it comes out to something like $65 million an episode.
Jeez.
It's like the most expensive show ever made.
Is it getting any numbers? I haven't heard anyone say anything about it.
Well, it's not out yet. It comes out, I think it debuts in like September.
I know a lot of people are up in arms about it being all woke or something, but...
I mean, it's not even out yet. And they barely even had any promo material.
There was like a black woman on the cover.
It's not all whiteys. It's too woke. Yeah, that's stupid.
Well, then people, because it happened before, they're like, there must have been a genocide in between, you know, that and Lord of the Rings.
That's true, yeah. Wiped out all
the black people disappeared.
Yeah.
So people been talking mostly shit about Halo online?
Yeah.
Really?
Like every review that I've seen from like pro reviewers, like they've because most of their background is like gaming somewhat. You know, they played the game, so they always compare it to that.
I mean, yeah, like I was saying, visually that last episode a bit off, but like storyline wise, I thought it was actually very strong. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the story, so I'm definitely in for season 2 if they continue. Hey, they just announced today that they're going to make both a God of War television show and Horizon television show. So they're going all in on video game shows.
I don't know much about Horizon.
The game is great. Well, I've only played the first one so far. I want to play the second one. I haven't got around to it yet. But the first game, fantastic. Probably my favorite PS4 game.
Okay. I mean, these are sounds like good topics they're picking, these game, you know, titles anyway. I think God of War, I'll definitely watch it. You know, I watch gameplay of it, you know, just enjoying that. So I'll watch the show, but man, just so many of these video game shows go south so fast, and and Sony's in charge of this, and I just feel like I don't trust Sony.
Yeah, Sony doesn't have the greatest track record. I'm hoping that TV will make it stronger than kind of Sony's movie output has been, because their movie output has not been great.
Yeah. If Sony keeps making mediocre movies, I think it's actually gonna become a stopping point for me. It's gonna like stop me from watching.
Like if you know a Sony producer is like not as interested off the bat. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm wondering if what Sony's big franchises are that besides like the Spider-Man and video like PlayStation stuff.
Yeah,
but you're right. Like, they do not have a great track track record as of late. But I'm hoping the TV stuff will be stronger. Although, like The Last of Us, that's going to be on HBO.
Okay.
HBO tends to have decent quality shows.
Somebody made fun of these games coming out, these shows. They said that Tom Holland's going to star as Kratos in God of War.
Or you can be Aloy in Horizon. Yeah, I don't know who they'll cast for him, but it's interesting.
Batista, maybe.
You know what? I could see that.
Yeah.
It's got to be somebody pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could actually see Batista doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Although he was saying that that Guardians 3 would be his last movie. He's like, I love it, but I'm getting up in age and like I'm starting to sag.
I don't know. I mean,
and Kratos, he's a pretty buff guy.
I mean, he's not looking that bad.
That's what kind of my thought too. I was like, I wish I looked like Batista.
If I was just as flabby as Batista.
And then the only other thing I watched was the newest episode of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, which I still
probably
enjoy.
one I haven't seen.
Yeah, I enjoy.
How many are out? 3?
3.
Yeah, I think I've seen 2.
did you guys hear about Ray Leota passing away?
I did.
Yeah, I saw that popping up on Twitter today.
Yeah. I remember him in the last movie I saw of his was Blow. I thought he played such a good father role in that movie. Like I thought he was kind of young, but they made him look older and stuff with prosthetics, and yeah, I just thought he was like, he reminded me of my own father. He just seems so like, father
Indian.
figure. Like, yeah, he was so Indian. No, but I mean, yeah, I thought he was a good actor, and I enjoyed a lot of his work too.
That was like the cocaine movie?
Blow, yeah.
That's got like Johnny Depp in it.
Yeah, he's like,
I never saw that.
He's
one.
like the supportive father who's always there for him, but Johnny Depp like keeps letting him down.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like the last thing I would have seen him in. It seems like it's been a minute since I watched anything with him in it.
Yeah, it seems like I've seen him in smaller roles.
Was he in that Irishman movie?
Yeah, I think he was.
Was he?
Maybe he wasn't.
I don't think so. I mean, he famously was in Goodfellas.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just De Niro? I don't know. I watched it and I don't remember shit about it really.
Yeah, I watched it. It was kind of boring in my opinion, but I don't think he was in it.
Okay.
But he was like 68 or something, I think.
He's in his 60s, I think, yeah. I don't know exactly.
Died in his sleep, it said.
Yeah.
Said he was like in the Dominican Republic?
I think it did say something like that.
It's kind of random.
Yeah. Died in his sleep from all those tranquilizers.
You got the good stuff down there.
You guys got anything else you want to talk about before we get into this week's show?
No.
All right, let's get cracking. So anyone who hasn't watched or listened, we're going to go around the table. Everybody's going to bring a wacky news story to the table, and we'll see if we can't just make something funny and or entertaining out of it. As tradition dictates, AJ, we usually start with you, so what do you got for us?
All right. I think you guys might have the same story because I just thought this was a real banger right here. This is a local story. A jury in the U.S. city of Portland, Oregon, has convicted a self-published romance novelist who wrote an essay titled "How to Murder Your Husband" of fatally shooting her husband.
Oh, no, I have not seen this one.
The 12-person jury found Nancy Crampton Brophy, 71, guilty of second-degree murder on Wednesday after deliberating for 2 days over Daniel Brophy's death, according to reports. Brophy, a 63-year-old chef, was killed on June 2nd, 2018, as he prepared for work at the Oregon Culinary Institute in southwest Portland. Crampton Brophy showed no visible reaction to the verdict in the crowded Multnomah County courtroom. Lisa Maxfield, one of her lawyers, said the defense team would appeal against the decision. The defendant's 2011 how-to treatise detailed various options for committing an untraceable killing, written in the form of a brainstorming exercise for writers. Its opening reads, "As a romantic suspense writer, I spend a lot of time thinking about murder and consequently about police procedure. After all, if the murder is supposed to set me free, I certainly don't want to spend my time in jail. And let me say clearly for the record, I don't like jumpsuits and orange is my color." The blog post went on to detail motives: financial, lying, cheating, bastard, abuser, and a discussion of possible methods. Knives were personal and up close. Blood everywhere, while poison, considered a woman's weapon, was too easy to trace. Crampton Brophy wrote, "Guns were loud, messy, require some skill. The circuit judge, Christopher Ramras, had excluded the essay from the trial, noting it had been published several years ago. Jurors were not allowed to consider it in their judgment. A prosecutor, however, alluded to the essay's themes without naming it after Crampton Brophy took the stand. Prosecutors told jurors Crampton Brophy was motivated by money problems and a life insurance policy. However, Crampton Brophy, what a weird name, said she had no reason to kill her husband and their financial problems had largely been solved by cashing in a portion of Brophy's retirement savings plan. She owned the same make and model of gun used to kill her husband and was seen on surveillance footage driving to and from the Culinary Institute, court exhibits and testimony showed. Prosecutors alleged Crampton Brophy had bought a ghost gun, an untraceable firearm kit, and swapped parts with a shot-bought handgun. Police have never found the gun that killed Brophy. Defense lawyers said the gun parts were the inspiration for an idea Crampton Brophy had for a new book and suggested someone else might have killed Brophy during a botched robbery. Crampton Brophy testified that her presence near the culinary school on the day of her husband's death was mere coincidence and that she had parked in that area to work on her writing. Crampton Brophy has been in custody since her arrest in September 2018. She will be sentenced on June 13th. "I find it easier to wish people death than to actually kill them," Crampton Brophy wrote in her 2011 post. "I don't want to worry about blood and brains splattered on my walls, and really I'm not good at remembering lies, but the thing I know about murder is that every one of us have it in him or her to get pushed when pushed far enough." I mean, that does not look good.
So wait, go back. What is this ghost gun? She somehow like combines parts of different guns or something?
That's what it sounds
Well, it sounds like, yeah, she traded out parts and then like got rid of the parts and put the gun back together. So it wouldn't match or something? I don't know.
But were these like guns she bought illegally or somehow legally, but then mixed them up? I don't.
So she bought an untraceable firearm kit. So I guess it's just some sort of kit you use to replace the parts of a legal firearm to make it untraceable.
Interesting.
Sounds strange.
I mean, this just reminded me of that O.J. Simpson thing, if I had done it. This lady is straight up just... I mean, you can't commit a murder after you've written a book about murder like that.
That's true. Although maybe you could use it'd be too obvious defense.
Well, she was trying to make the defense that it's too dirty, it's too messy. I don't want brains and guts all over me.
Yeah, I would have used poison.
Man, there was a case like this where some people got poisoned, but before they'd gotten poisoned, their dogs had been poisoned, and signs were kind of pointing to their neighbor. But yeah, it was like weird. They just mysteriously got sick, and like it was like a really horrible but obscure poison. And later it came out that the guy had at one point in his life been a chemist, and he'd been in jail for some other things, but they didn't really have enough to like trace him. But he was a member of Mensa. And he hosted this like Mensa party, and then like to that group, like he posted like this hypothetical scenario about killing people with poison.
Oh,
I was
no.
like, this guy's a genius. But yeah, there'd been like a female FBI agent or maybe a police officer, but she'd gotten in close enough to him to like get some evidence on him, I guess.
Do you think there maybe is something to that like thing about like some people want to get caught?
I don't know. It seems like you're being stupid.
Yeah, I mean, like,
or you're just like, you're that arrogant that you don't think anyone's gonna put it together?
It's like the Riddler giving Batman fucking clues. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. No, I had not heard of that. So that was a Portland
Portland
person.
special, huh?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Well, what do you got for us in Manifesto Round 1? You got any murder for us?
No murder this time. A father was forced to pay $4,200 as compensation when his 5-year-old, this is like in a designer toy store, the kid broke this $4,200 golden Teletubby.
Oh, shit.
And it just shows it like porcelain smashed on the floor. But I'm like, if you're going in a store with like a $5,000 Teletubby, like, you got too much money. Maybe you need to just lose some money.
But what if he was doing what us poor people do and just walking around and looking?
Look at it. This is how the rich people live.
With golden Teletubbies.
You're on your own, son.
You're theirs
You
now.
just grab him and run.
I don't know this kid.
He'll work it off.
But what kind of asshole is going to buy like a 3-foot tall golden Teletubby? Like, what kind of taste do you have?
I'm surprised the Teletubbies were ever big enough that got made.
You ever see that show Uncut Gems? Like,
No.
he owns a jewelry shop, and inside there he's got like diamond encrusted Furbies on big golden chains. It reminded me of that. It's like just go big and tacky and expensive.
It would be funny if like we like dramatically changed the way we dress. Like like if one of us just started dressing like a pimp with big obnoxious like jewels and stuff, and maybe
You
one
already
of
have a
us,
fedora.
one of us
I
could
need a haircut to wear
one
it,
of us could start dressing like a Southern dandy, like KFC, like Colonel Sanders type shit. I don't know. We could all
you
have
need
these
to be
funny
the Colonel.
gimmicks. What would yours be?
Something ethnic, I'm sure.
Maybe you should be the Colonel Sanders to throw people off.
Yeah, do like a Southern Indian
It's
guy.
really the whitest gimmick you can think of.
I always end up sounding like Benjamin Button.
All right. Well, I got another list article, another fun list. This is the 6 of the strangest gods and deities from around the world. Number 1, Loki. Loki isn't exactly obscure. You know the Norse trickster god, at least from the Marvel character that's based on him. But his antics sure did get strange at times. In one story, for example, the gods told a certain giant he could marry the goddess Freya if he built an impossibly large wall. Now, in Marvel, isn't Freya his mother?
Yeah, in the movies she is.
But to the god's surprise, the giant got close to succeeding, being aided by his giant stallion. Not wanting to lose Freya, the gods told Loki to stop the giant. Later, they probably wished they'd given Loki more specific instructions. That's because Loki, an adept shapeshifter, decided to turn himself into a mare. He then lured the giant stallion away, and let's just say that's how Loki, a male god, ended up giving birth to 8-legged horse Sleipnir.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Didn't Zeus do that shit too? Like he'd turn into shit and fuck shit?
I know he'd turn into like animals and fuck women.
Yeah.
He never like was like, I'm gonna go seduce this stallion over here.
I feel like banging animals was really popular back in the day.
I'd like to see that slip into the Marvel universe.
It's true.
I think that became like Zeus's horse as well.
I feel like there is a lot of animal fucking in like Greek mythology. So you got to think, were they just fucking animals all the time? Is that how it got into so many of their stories?
I saw this TikTok with this Italian guy. He was talking
Socrates is like, I'm just like sick of women. No, sorry.
about this Italian guy was talking about how in Italy, like they have this, or people around the world have this image of Italian guys being like very romantic and getting like being ladies' men. And like in real life, he's like Italian guys are like banging goats and stuff in the countryside.
It'd be funny if you read Socrates and Plato and you're like, it's just all about horse fucking. Number 2, Mutunus Tutunus. Mutunus Tutunus was a minor Roman deity of marriage, and he looked like a giant penis. In the days of the Roman Empire, there was a significant shrine to this god in Rome. During the Roman marriage ceremony, brides were supposedly taken to the temple before being married off. At Mutunus Tutunus' sanctuary, they would then straddle a stone image of the god. So yeah, before marriage, Roman women got to ride with a dildo god. The ceremony, as far as we're aware, was supposed to somehow teach the young brides not to be embarrassed about sex. We suppose after you've crawled over the biggest penis of them all, normal sex kind of loses its mystique. But like, did they actually like fuck a stone dildo?
That does not sound good.
That does not sound pleasant. I do not know how to pronounce this one. Matshishkapu. According to the ancient legends of the Native American Innu people living in Quebec and Labrador, spirits regularly talk to people. How exactly they choose to communicate depends on the spirit or deity itself. Matshishkapu has a particularly creative way to speak to his adherents. How does he do it, you ask? Well, he's also known as the Fart Man. Matshishkapu declares his will entirely through people's flatulence, and when he speaks, you will listen. That's because Matshishkapu is, despite his humorous nature, an extremely important figure in Innu mythology. He's one of the most powerful of all spirits and has the ability to control both animal and human behavior. So after you're done chuckling after ripping a particularly loud one, you better quickly go carry out the god's will. That seems like an excuse you could use for farting.
Lester's going to use that.
Matshishkapu made me do it.
He's his avatar.
Speak to me, old toothless one.
Number 4, Qualamos. We know very little about the mythical Greek figure of Qualamos. It's not entirely clear if he was a full-fledged deity or just a spirit entity otherwise known as a daemon. But what we do know is that he was dumb. How dumb? He was the personification of stupidity and foolishness. Even his name highlights how stupid Qualamos is. One theory posits his name derives from the words queo and elios, translating roughly to hear foolishness. In other words, his name is Dumbass. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly what Qualamos did when his name was invoked, but we bet it was something stupid.
Mm-hmm. He's placed his blessing on most of the human race.
That's the god I'm going to pray to. Qualamos.
Orbit confusion.
Nerd. Number 5, Cardia. Cardia doesn't really have any strange stories about her. Instead, her weirdness comes from her hyper-specific domain. She was the goddess of hinges, you know, like those on your door or any box with an attached lid. She ended up with the job after turning down the advances of the god Janus, who then, being the outstanding gentleman he is, raped her. After ravishing her, Janus declared that Cardia would rule over hinges for all eternity. How petty can you get? But despite her sad origins, Cardia serves a pretty significant purpose. Together with 2 other gods, Forculus, the god of doors, and Lamentius, the god of thresholds, she opens the passage from the realm of the gods to the mortal world. It's an important job that hinged on Cardia. And then finally, number 6, Xochipilli. He looks scarier than you'd expect. Xochipilli from the Aztec mythology had a lot on his plate. To begin with, he was the patron god of homosexuals and gay prostitutes. But Xochipilli didn't just rejoice with the boys. He was also the protector of writing, painting, dancing, singing, and the strategy game Patoli. His name translates to the Flower Prince. But it wasn't just any kind of flower he safeguarded. Oh no. Xochipilli was the god of psychoactive plants like tobacco and magic mushrooms. Based on this, Xochipilli clearly just wanted to get high and have a good time with his bros. So there you go. The god of
Sochi Pilly.
homosexuals and gay prostitutes, and he's into drugs.
All right.
That's a god that likes to party in a very specific way.
I feel like that's a conservative's nightmare, a Republican's nightmare. Gay and drugs.
Yeah, we should bring that back. Be like, we're religious. We worship Sochi Pilly, and you should too.
Door to door religion.
Oh yeah, I want to get a pamphlet for people.
Sochi Pilly.
The Church of Sochi Pilly.
Have you heard the good word?
A magic mushroom in every brochure.
Open your heart and anus to Sochi Pilly.
That's the other thing, the flower prints. We're talking about the old flowering butthole. Is that what that was a reference to? The flower prints. All right, that was my list. AJ, do you got a second story for us?
All right. I'm torn between which story to go with, but I have to go with Red Power Ranger actor arrested and charged with COVID fraud in FBI raid. A statement was posted on Austin St. John's Instagram saying he's a father, husband, role model, and friend to many. The indictment detailed today is populated by a multitude of individuals, the majority of which Austin has no knowledge of and has never met or interacted with. It is our understanding that Austin put his faith, reputation, and finances in the hands of third parties whose goals were self-centered and ultimately manipulated and betrayed his trust. We expect Austin's legal team to successfully defend against these charges and lead to his ultimate exoneration. We ask that you respect the privacy of Austin's family in light of this serious situation, and thank you for your support. Austin St. John, the actor who played the Red Ranger in the 90s series, has had his house raided by the feds and is now under arrest in a massive federal criminal case. One of St. John's neighbors tells TMZ approximately 15 FBI agents in tactical gear rolled up to St. John's home on Thursday at 7 a.m. in Tahoe Suburbans in an upscale neighborhood in McKinney, Texas, brandishing what looked like AR-15s as they approached his porch. They entered the home, and when they came out, they had a +1. They had a +1. St. John in handcuffs. Turns out there was a massive federal indictment involving 18 people who have now been charged with fraud. The indictment alleges St. John was part of a scheme to defraud the Small Businesses Administration's Paycheck Protection Program. That's the program designed to help small businesses affected by COVID. St. John allegedly got 16 loans totaling $3.5 million, which he used for personal purchases and not for the intended purpose. Even if it was used for the intended purpose, the feds claim it was obtained fraudulently. St. John played Jason Lee Scott in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which launched his career in 1993. He left the show in its second season but came back from time to time. By the way, there are other Power Rangers who got in legal mess. Ricardo Medding Jr.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this because, like, a couple years ago, I think it was like the Green Ranger, like, killed a guy with a sword or something. But it was like, I think they called it self-defense, so he didn't like even get in trouble or something.
All right, wait, hold on. Ricardo Medding Jr., that's his name. He starred in Power Rangers Wild Force. He was convicted of manslaughter in 2017 and sentenced to 6 years for stabbing his roommate with a sword.
Oh, never mind. He apparently got in trouble.
As for St. John, if convicted, he faces a maximum of 20 years in prison. Man, these Power Rangers have gone to the dark side. I guess you really do live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
What's that Pink Ranger getting up to?
You hear about the Yellow Ranger? She died in a car accident, like 2 years after season 1 or something, like, right?
Oh, no, I did not.
Yeah. It's not a good thing to be. And the Power Rangers don't get paid, man. Those actors. I think the company is it Saban or
Saban? Yeah, Saban? I think.
Like they have this like contract where they don't have to pay them like they're real actors. They're seen as something else, so they're not paid accordingly. Man, that's why people leave the show so quickly too. They'll get on there for a little bit of fame and they'll leave.
Well, all the kids my age got really into Power Rangers. I never could. Even as a kid, I was like, oh, this is a bit too hokey and silly for me. Yeah. But like apparently, like what they did was like they took a show from Japan, and like. They basically just like they shot the footage of like the kids acting in the school and whatnot, and then they just like cut this Japanese show to pieces, and like filtered that footage in, and somehow made a show out of it. real duct tape.
Real cut and paste operation.
Yeah.
Yeah, Power Rangers was crazy, man. I watched it, but it was corny as hell.
Yeah. It's one of those things I gave a try a couple times when there was like no cartoons on, and I was just like, boy, this is like, even as like a 10-year-old kid, I'm like, man, this is cheesy as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is rough. But yeah, Power Rangers getting in trouble. Manifesto round 2.
Okay, speaking of fraud, a man in Japan gets town's COVID funds by mistake and gambles it all away.
Damn.
So yeah, there's like this poor dude jobless, and they accidentally transfer $360,000 into his account.
So he essentially wins the lottery in a way, but then he
Right,
it all.
and
Loses
it's
it.
just like, I forget what the time frame was. It was like maybe 30 days or something. Like, he's pretty much withdrawn all of it and gambled it away.
Oh my gosh.
I would be going to a different country. I'd be getting out of there with my money, put it in a Swiss bank account.
Do something. You could transfer it to Bitcoin or something, and then like, if you get arrested, like at least when you get out, you still have Bitcoin stashed away somewhere. Maybe that's what he did. He's like, I gambled it away.
Yeah, maybe he did like something smart, where he's just lying and saying he gambled.
Yeah.
But did he even break a law, really? It doesn't sound like he embezzled it. It sounds like they fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they accidentally transferred it to him. I mean, obviously he knew it wasn't his, but
Yeah, but I
Still.
mean, they put the money in his account.
I mean, I think even when that happens, they can come and try to get it back.
I feel like in America, this guy wouldn't get in trouble.
Yeah.
I
In
think
America,
I've heard
he'd
of
be
cases
okay.
of this in America where they do come for you.
I know, like, recently this woman, like, she got, like, $3 million deposited in her bank on accident, and she didn't return it, and the bank, like, tried to go after her and press charges and all kinds of stuff. But in the end, she won because
Okay,
they
nice.
put the money in her account.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
I'd be okay with that. I mean, shoot. I hate banks. They're the worst.
Like, how do you even get $3 million out of a bank?
Yeah, most people can't get their own money out of a bank.
Yeah.
Anything more on that story?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. A story out of Cambodia. Cambodian government says, stop picking our carnivorous penis plants. If you don't know much about Cambodia, you should at least know that its tropical nature is breathtaking. The mountain of Phnom Bokor in the country's southwest is particularly amazing. There you can spot many kinds of fascinating wildlife. You may find the Malayan sun bear, the slow loris, the clouded leopard, the penises. Oh, sorry, our mistake. We meant the pitcher plant, Nepenthes bocarensis, which just kind of looks like a penis. See this woman holding them?
She's very happy.
It went extinct because it looked like a penis.
The plant's resemblance to a phallus hasn't been lost on people, particularly tourists. They're harvesting the genital-like plants at such a pace that the Cambodian government has felt the need to chime in. In a May 11th Facebook post, the Cambodian Ministry of Environment submitted a plea to the public. Accompanying the post were pictures of 3 young women posing with collected and bocarensis pictures. What they are doing is wrong, and please don't do it again in the future. The machine-translated post reads, "Our apologies, but we can't actually read or speak Cambodian. Thank you for loving natural resources, but don't harvest so it goes to waste," the ministry added.
You can take pictures without chopping it down.
Stop riding him in the middle of the field.
This isn't Mutanus Futanus or whatever that guy's saying. Each of the women depicted in the pictures is holding a variety of floral penises. The one who gathered the most has scored 4 of them. Then again, we suppose they could have picked just the 4 pictures and shared them for the selfies. We can't really tell. The plants just look like a bouquet of dicks. But why is picking the dong plants such a big deal? It's the usual reason. They're endangered. N. bocarensis grows only in the mountains of Kampot province, which includes the Dam Re Mountains. Cambodia, unfortunately, has one of the highest deforestation rates in the world, which is now also threatening the penile pitchers. They did fairly well for a surprisingly long time, though. Their habitat lies deep within the Bokor National Park, and so they remain largely undisturbed until 2009. But then Cambodia's government leased Phnom Bokor for private development. Now the building of the large-scale Bokor city is encroaching on the penis plant's territory. There are 2 silver linings to the 3 women's phallic flower picking escapade. They may not have actually killed the plant. The pictures, which are the part of the plant that resembles a penis, aren't the entire plant. They're modified leaves that the plants use to catch insects. The pitchers emit sweet-smelling nectar that attracts bugs. When a hapless fly buzzes up for a snack, it will slip on the pitcher's slick surface and fall into digestive fluids. This way, the plants can supplement the meager diet they get from the low-nutrient soil they grow in. So the women didn't kill the plant immediately, although it may eventually starve to death. The second upside of the women's choice of plant is that they actually did choose N. bocarensis. Some early reports about the Cambodian government announcement mistakenly identified that plant as the related Nepenthes holdini. Holdini is much rarer and consequently more endangered. But according to its discoverer, wildlife photographer Jeremy Holden, the women would have had to be very lucky to actually find N. holdini, since only a few researchers know where it grows. My plant, N. holdini, grows at a few secret locations in the Cardamom Mountains. Bocarensis occurs on the far more accessible Phnom Bokor, which has undergone extensive development in recent years. Holden told Live Science. This isn't the first time either that Cambodian authorities have had to remind people not to go fondling the penises they find growing on wild bushes. The Ministry of Environment also submitted a similar plea in 2021. Francois May, the botanical illustrator who originally described both N. bocarensis and holdini, said it's all right to be amused by the plants. If people are interested even in a funny way to pose, to take selfies with the plants, it's fine. Just do not pick the pictures because it weakens the plant, because the plant needs these pictures to feed, May said. So you guys want to go to Cambodia and get some of these penis plants?
Man, we don't stand a chance. These are rainbow penises. Men are going to be obsolete.
The Prince of Flowers, you said?
Yeah. It's all coming around.
I'd like to see some like evolution where like it's a penis plant but it's poisonous and it just kills sloths and then like grows on their body or something.
But really, like, if these plants will grow in other areas, like they should flower the earth with these penis plants. We'll just have dick flowers going all over the place.
It's like Wonka land for you.
The penises taste like real penises. Man, this story is like Mutumbu Tudmusi or whatever and Sochi Pili put together.
Yeah, it is actually.
All right, AJ, story number 3.
All right, this was kind of interesting. Scientists grow plants in lunar dirt. Next stop, moon. Let's see here. For the first time, scientists have grown plants in soil from the moon collected by NASA's Apollo astronauts. Researchers have no idea if anything would sprout in the harsh moon dirt and wanted to see if it could be used to grow food by the next generation of lunar explorers. The results stunned them. Holy cow, plants actually grow in lunar stuff. Are you kidding me? Said Robert Furt of the University of Florida's Institute of Food and Agricultural Studies, or Sciences. Ferry Furl and his colleagues planted Thale crests in moon soil returned by Apollo 11's Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and other moonwalkers. The good news, all of these seeds sprouted. The downside was that after the first week, the coarseness and the other properties of the lunar soil stressed the small flowering weeds so much that they grew more slowly than seedlings planted in fake moon dirt from Earth. Most of the moon plants ended up stunted. Results were published Thursday in Communications Biology. The longer the soil was exposed to punishing cosmic radiation and solar winds on the moon, the worse the plants seemed to do. The Apollo 11 samples exposed a couple billion years longer to the elements because of the Sea of Tranquility's older surface were the least conducive for growth, according to scientists. This is a big step forward to know that you can grow plants, said Simon Gilroy, a space plant biologist at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, who had no role in the study. The real next step is to go and do it on the surface of the moon. Moon dirt is full of tiny glass fragments from micrometeorite impacts that got everywhere in the Apollo lunar landers and wore down the moonwalkers' spacesuits. One solution might be to use younger geologic spots on the moon, like lava flows, for digging up planting soil. The environment also could be tweaked, altering the nutrient mixture or adjusting the artificial lighting. Only 842 pounds of moon rocks and soil were brought back by 6 Apollo crews. Some of the earliest moon dust was sprinkled on plants under quarantine with the Apollo astronauts in Houston after returning from the moon. Most of the lunar trash remained locked away, forcing researchers to experiment with simulated soil made of volcanic ash on Earth. NASA finally doled out 12 grams to the University of Florida researchers early last year, and the long-awaited planting took place last May in a lab. NASA said the timing for such an experiment was finally right, with the space agency looking to put astronauts back on the moon in a few years. The ideal situation would be for future astronauts to tap into the endless supply of available local dirt for indoor planting versus setting up a hydroponic or all-water system, scientists said. The fact that anything grew means that we have a really good starting point, and now the question is, how do we optimize and improve, said Sharmila Bhattacharya, NASA's program scientist for space biology. The Florida scientists hope to recycle their lunar soil later this year, planting more thale crest before possibly moving on to other vegetation.
Look, until they can grow penises on the moon, I'm not interested.
I mean, we're getting there. We're going to get penis plants on the moon.
Shaping up for the Matt Damon shit potatoes.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the shit potatoes.
Yep.
Shit taters.
They're even better when they have human feces in them. I mean, that sounds cool, man. I do hope we get to the point where we can grow stuff on the moon, because we might need to at some point.
I don't feel it would be economically feasible.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to scale very well.
I don't know. It just kind of reminds me of Dune, where they have planets, and then they have these huge farm planets where they get the agriculture and they send it to their cities,
The spice,
their colonies.
Flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just start making drugs on the moon.
Moon spice.
Hydroponic, baby.
All right, do we got another manifesto story?
All right. Construction workers spot missing woman skeleton through her window.
I saw this headline, but I didn't read it.
So it's like a big apartment building. Apparently she's on the 7th floor. But they find her in April. She was reported missing in January, but they think she's probably been dead since July or August.
How did people not smell it?
I mean, what kind of apartment are you? Where you're just hey, it smells like death over here, and the super's they don't cause any trouble for me. Nobody checked. I mean, you've been reported missing since January. How shitty is your police force that they can't find you in your own apartment in 3 or 4 months?
Well, I think they have issues with missing persons. If they're an adult or something, then
you don't even try.
They don't qualify them as a missing person after some amount of time. I'm not sure how long.
We knocked on the door and it smelled really like death, but
Can you imagine if you were the downstairs neighbor and her bodily melted fluids and skin and shit just starts leaking through?
There's a wet spot on the ceiling. Yeah.
It's hard to imagine that somebody didn't smell that shit.
Yeah.
That had to be horrendous.
You would think so, yeah. Because they said they found her skeleton.
I know, her skeleton. That means everything else fucking rotted off. Ugh.
That quickly, too?
Just
a few months.
Well, they figure she probably died back in August. And they didn't find her till April.
Maggots and shit were just feasting.
Yeah. Ugh.
I would not want to see that if I was a construction worker. That's who saw it? Through the window?
Yeah, I guess they were doing something. They saw her through the window.
Man. Oh. I would just erase that from memory. I wouldn't even report it. I'd be like, nope, didn't see anything.
I mean, I don't think like seeing a skeleton from a distance would bother me, but smelling that dead body, that's what would bother me.
Yeah, I think you'd smell it before you saw it, right? Like at that point.
You'd have to smell it.
I can't
Such a
imagine.
pervasive smell.
I know. That's a distinct smell, like when you're driving through on the highway or something, and you smell like a dead deer, dead animal.
Yeah,
that
even
smell,
with the
you're just
windows up, it's pungent.
yeah, you're like, holy
it's rotten.
shit.
Hey, I don't know.
So awful. Like, maybe it was just like an apartment building that, like, I don't know, didn't have many people in it. I wouldn't think so.
No,
But
she was on like the 7th floor. It had to be.
so yeah, it was like a huge building. You would think. Was she the only one on the 7th floor? God damn.
Was she loaded? Would she pay like several years in advance?
Was this a penthouse or something? I mean...
Yeah, you'd have to have some kind of payment set up, or you'd be like, should have been evicted by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You think the landlord would have been like, hey, money time. What's that smell?
Yeah.
You better not be dying in there.
It smells like you're busy. I'll just...
You just quit and leave. Maybe the next person will have to deal with it.
Oh, man. Anything else on that one?
Nah.
Well, it looks like we got time for about one more story. I don't have anything super funny, but I found this a little bit interesting. Kentucky employer owes worker $450,000 due to a birthday party. A company threw a man a birthday party, but the man didn't want one. He turned around and sued them, and the jury sided with him. A $450,000 settlement was awarded to the employee. The Kenton County Circuit Court in northern Kentucky heard the case, and the verdict was given this last week. Court documents said that the employee had notified the office manager to make them aware of his anxiety disorder, triggered by birthday parties. He said that being the center of attention causes him to have panic attacks. The employee reached out to the office manager days ahead of time of his August birthday and asked not to arrange a party to celebrate for him as they do for other employees. However, on August 7th, the employee's birthday, there was a lunchtime birthday party in the lunchroom arranged by the office. The employee was headed to his lunch break when he found out about the party, and then he had a panic attack. The employee then rushed to leave the office suddenly and spent his lunch break in his car. Said employee sent a text to his office manager asking why she failed to accommodate his request and not throw him a party. The next day, the employee was called into a meeting in which he was confronted and criticized by the manager regarding his reaction to the party. The employee had another panic attack because of the meeting and asked the manager to stop. The lawsuit states that the employee was then sent home for the next 2 days, and that weekend was notified that he was being fired because of the events of the previous week. Gravity Diagnostics was then sued by its previous employee on grounds of disability discrimination and retaliation. The lawsuit said that because Gravity Diagnostics didn't accommodate his anxiety disorder, that the birthday party and that the events afterward caused him to suffer from a loss of income and benefits and emotional distress and mental anxiety. Jurors sided with the employee, agreeing that the company violated Kentucky law that protects workers who had a disability from adverse employment actions. The total sum that went to the employee was $450,000, $300,000 for emotional distress, and additional $150,000 for lost wages. Now, here's the thing: is like this guy definitely, was wrongfully fired. Like, I think he should have won the case, but goddamn, $450,000.
Yeah, it seems like a lot.
That seems like a lot. Some of these settlements, like we had that story last week about the woman with the killer cat, and she got like that crazy settlement. It's like, how are these people getting like such huge settlements? It seems crazy.
I feel like you gotta know somebody. They must have somebody on the inside, like who works there. Like there's with the
Our
judge.
lawyers just like know what they're fucking doing. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like you need to find something slightly obscure and then just like be a litigious asshole.
The thing is, like, how big of a cunt was his boss that he's like specifically like, hey, I have this problem.
I don't wanna
Please
party."
don't do this. And the next day they're like, "Happy birthday! We got you a party."
And then they reprimanded him after that.
Yes.
Hey, we threw you a party. You weren't like, grateful.
Yeah, you ungrateful bitch. You're fired. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, Jesus.
Maybe they just didn't like him.
He's working for Moon Knight's boss.
I know, but that's such a weird revenge to throw a party for somebody you don't like because they don't like the party.
I'm being an asshole, and it looks like I'm being a generous guy.
Here's your gift.
How do you think you like being the center of attention in this trial?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
He's like, well, if I'm getting paid $450,000, I can do it.
Calm my ass down.
Also, like, was he getting paid really good money? Because they gave him $150,000 in lost wages.
Maybe he was like a software engineer or something.
Could have been.
No party, please.
We need to all sue our employers for something. Get
Like in
some
a car
of this big money.
Somehow I'll try to sue them.
Well, we're over an hour. Do you guys got any like small stories to go out on, or anything else you wanted to talk about?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I was like, we could talk about current events, but fuck if things been depressing lately.
Yeah.
Like, look at the last month, like the whole like abortion thing, a bunch of shootings, and then the school shooting. It's like, god damn, this is one thing after another.
Man, we add social media to that, just seems like the end of times.
Well, hopefully we brought you a little bit of joy today, everybody. We thank you very much for watching and listening. Make sure to tell your friends about us, share our clips and everything on social media. Make social media actually a bright spot with our clips. Go ahead and subscribe both to the YouTube channel and your podcast service of choice. Thumbs up, leave us comments. And why not talk to us on social media, specifically Twitter? Guys, where can people find you on Twitter?
At a name for this too, and that's the number 2.
At unsolicited SUG.
And you can, of course, find me at Zach Jones Live. That's ZachJonesLive. And that's going to do it for all of our shenanigans and poppycock this week. Please, please, please tune in again next week. Bye, guys.
Take care.
Have a good one.